Hey, I'm Papurr, and for the past 5 years, I've been mastering the art of credit and travel hacking, and in that time, I've helped over 4,400 people repair and rebuild their credit, as well as teach them how to maximize rewards to travel first class and stay in 5-star hotels for free. Now today I'm tackling something that sounds almost impossible: how to get a 10k credit limit when you have literally no credit history. Now I know what you're thinking: no way that's possible. Banks want to see years of perfect payment history before they'll trust you with that kind of limit, and normally you'd be right, but I've discovered several legitimate strategies that can help you bypass the traditional credit building timeline. These aren't quick hacks or shady loopholes, they're strategic approaches that banks actually respond to positively. And the best part of all of this is that these methods work worldwide, in the States or the United Kingdom, with just a few adjustments that I'll explain along the way. So let's break down exactly how to go from zero credit history to a 5-figure credit limit without waiting years to get there. Now, before we dive into the strategies, we need to understand why banks care about credit history in the first place. When a bank is considering giving you a credit card with a high limit, they're asking themselves one main question: will this person pay us back? And traditional credit history helps them answer that question. But here's the key insight: credit history is just one way banks assess risk. It's not the only way, and that's where our opportunity lies. Now, in the United States, banks also look at your income and employment stability, your existing banking relationship, your assets and deposits, your debt to income ratio. Now, it's kind of similar in the United Kingdom, where the lenders consider your income and employment, your banking history, whether you're on the electoral roll, your existing financial connections, and your housing stability. So our strategy is simple: we need to strengthen these other factors to compensate for the lack of credit history. We're essentially showing the banks, I don't have credit history, but I have something even better. The first and most powerful strategy is what I call the banking relationship approach. This works incredibly well in both the US and UK. This concept is simple. Banks are much more willing to extend credit to existing customers who already have money with them. Why? Because they can see your financial behavior firsthand. Now, here's how to execute this in the United States. What you want to do is open a checking and savings account with a major bank that also offers good credit cards. Set up direct deposit for your paycheck. Maintain a healthy average daily balance, ideally $2,500 plus. Use your debit card regularly to show activity. Wait 3 to 6 months to establish a pattern. Apply for their credit card through your online banking portal and not through public channels. Now, for my UK viewers, the approach is very similar. Open a current account and savings account with a major bank. Set up your salary to be paid directly into this bank. Maintain a consistent positive balance around 2,000 plus ideally. Use your debit card and banking services regularly. Wait 3 to 6 months to establish a pattern and then apply for their credit card through their online banking. I personally had a member that I worked with who had zero credit history after moving to the US. He deposited $5,000 into his new account with a major bank, maintained that balance for 4 months while using his debit card regularly, and then was approved for a credit card with an $8,500 limit right off the bat. And similarly, I've helped someone in the UK who maintained £3,000 in their current account for 5 months and was approved for a credit card with a £6,000 limit from their bank, despite having no credit history. And a pro tip from me to you is that when you apply through your online banking portal where the bank already recognizes you as a customer, not through a generic online application that anyone can fill out. Now, our second strategy focuses on leveraging your income to overcome the lack of credit history. Credit limits are often determined as a percentage of income, which means proving a higher verifiable income can lead to higher initial credit limits. even without credit history. Now, what I want you to do if you're in the United States is apply for cards that specifically emphasize income in their approval process. Be prepared to provide detailed income verification that be pay slips, tax returns, include all legal income sources that be salary, bonuses, investments, side hustles, and then finally consider cards from American Express or certain Visa signature products that focus more on income than credit history. Now, if you're in the United Kingdom, look for cards marketed towards professionals or that emphasize income requirements. Be prepared to provide recent pay slips and bank statements. Include all income sources that you can verify. Consider getting cards from providers like American Express or certain cards from traditional banks that focus on new to credit professionals. Now, the key thing here is being able to verify the income you claim. Lenders in both countries have become way more stricter about verification. I've seen people with zero credit history but 80,000 in income in the US get approved for limits between $7,000 to $15,000 by focusing on cards that emphasize income over credit history. And in the UK, I've seen professionals with 45,000 plus in salaries get often secure credit limits of £5,000 to £8,000 even without established credit history. Now, the third approach is what I like to call the secured card upgrade path, and it's one of the most reliable methods in both countries. Most people think secured cards always come with tiny limits, but that's not necessarily true. You can actually use secured cards strategically to get a 10K limit faster than you might think. Now, here's the US strategy. Apply for a secured card that explicitly offers upgrade paths to unsecured cards. Instead of the typical $200, $500 security deposit, put down a larger deposit of $2,000 to $5,000 if you have the money. Now, use the card responsibly for 3 to 4 months, keeping utilization under 10%, then request a credit limit increase. Some banks will increase your limit beyond your security deposit after good behavior, and at the 6-month mark, request an upgrade to an unsecured product. When upgraded, apply for a limit increase immediately. Now, if you're based in the UK, apply for a credit builder card from a major bank rather than a subprime lender. If possible, choose one with a higher initial limit option. Use the card for 4 to 6 months, demonstrating perfect payment history. Request an upgrade to a standard product. Once upgraded, immediately request a limit increase. Now, one of the members that followed this exact approach with a $3,000 secured card was upgraded to a unsecured after 7 months and then received a limit increase to $8,500. And 3 months after that, they were at $12,000. And in the UK, I know someone who started with a £2,000 credit builder card and was upgraded after 8 months and reached a £7,000 limit within 14 months. Now, the secured card approach works because you're not starting from zero in the bank's eyes. You're starting with training wheels that you quickly outgrow. Now, strategy number 4 is what I like to call the authorized user springboard, and it works differently in the US and UK. Now, if you're in the United States, this strategy is incredibly powerful because when you become an authorized user on someone else's credit card account that meets these criteria, that be the primary card holder has excellent credit, the account has been open for 2+ years, the account has a high limit, ideally $10,000 plus, and the utilization is low, under 10%, the account history will typically be added to your credit report. Wait 60 days for this to reflect on your credit. Apply for your own credit card using this newly established history. You can often receive a limit similar to what you've been managing as an authorized user. Now, in the United Kingdom, this strategy is less effective. Being an additional card holder typically doesn't impact your credit history directly. However, there's an alternative approach that you guys can try. Establish a financial association with someone who has excellent credit through a joint account or utility bill. Make sure you're on the electoral roll at the exact same address, and after 3 to 6 months of this association, apply for credit with the lender that the other person has accounts with. Lenders often consider these financial associations when making decisions. Now, our final strategy might surprise you. It's using business credit to fast track your way to higher personal limits. And if you have any kind of side hustle, that be freelancing work or small business, even if it's just starting out, you can leverage this to access higher credit limits, often with less emphasis on personal credit history. For example, in the United States, you can establish a proper business entity, that be a LLC, sole proprietorship, get an EIN number from the IRS, open a business checking account with any major bank, operate the account normally for 3 to 6 months, then apply for a business credit card with the same bank. Business cards often offer higher initial limits based on business potential rather than just credit history. And if you're in the United Kingdom, you can register as a sole trader or establish a limited company, open a business current account with any major bank, use the account regularly for 4 to 6 months, then apply for a business credit card with the same bank. And UK banks are often willing to extend high limits to businesses, even new ones with less credit history. Now, business credit cards often require a personal guarantee, meaning you're still personally responsible for the debt. However, many business cards don't report to personal credit bureaus unless you default. Now, I know someone who started a small consulting business on the side, and after just 5 months with a business checking account, they were approved for a business credit card with $12,000 as the limit, despite having minimal personal credit history at the time. Now that we've covered all 5 strategies, let's talk about how to combine them for maximum effect. Now, here's where things get really powerful. You don't have to choose just one of these strategies. You can combine them. For example, here's my recommended approach for the fastest path to a 10,000 limit with no credit history. I want you to start by opening a checking and savings account with any major bank. Simultaneously become an authorized user if possible. After 2 to 3 months of banking history, apply for a secured card with the largest deposit you can comfortably make. When documenting income for any application, be thorough and include all sources. If you have any kind of side business, begin establishing business banking relationships as well. Now, following this approach I've given, I've personally seen people go from 0 credit to over 10,000 limits in as little as 8 to 10 months in the US and the UK. Remember, the goal isn't just to get a high limit, it's to get a high limit that you can use responsibly. A 10,000 limit misuse can create 10,000 worth of problems. And there you have it, 5 proven strategies to help you get a 10,000 credit limit with no credit history. Now remember, building credit is a marathon, not a sprint. But with these strategies, you can certainly run that marathon at a much faster pace. And if you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more financial tips. Drop a comment letting me know which strategy you're going to try first. And if you want to take your credit to the next level, I've put together a completely free credit masterclass with over 2 hours of content showing you everything that you need to maximize your credit journey. So check this video where I show you what you'll learn, how to get access, and how to use the information inside to turn credit into free travel and a source of income.